and welcome back to another video. Today going to be going over some more details for the upcoming Gran Turismo 7. So most of these I missed because they were not in the trailer itself, which obviously came out last week, hence when I put the video up, talking about what I saw from the trailer and the launch date and everything like that. But there was some bits outside of the trailer that I missed, and a couple of bits in the trailer that I'd like to revisit in today's video. So kind of going into a few details that I haven't picked up that you might not necessarily have picked up from some of the videos that came out straight after the trailer and from just watching the trailer itself. So yeah, alongside the trailer they uploaded some images onto their website, so big thanks to James for pointing these out to me, because I had just watched the trailer and didn't think to look elsewhere for some more information. So let's start with this licenses image that we saw, with a few, well, Japanese cars, obviously, because Gran Turismo, they often do that, but showing some of the license challenges. So hopefully these are more difficult than they were in Sport, because Sport was ridiculously easy. Maybe not necessarily to the level of old Gran Turismos, which are notoriously difficult licenses, but yeah, it's good to see them return. One of the few things that did come through Sport as well as being in the sort of classic Gran Turismos. So that was the first thing, license tests have been confirmed. Secondly, we move on to the GT Auto shop, which I didn't see anything to do with. I think it was in the map image, actually. GT Auto was hidden in there, but I didn't necessarily notice that. So this image of the GT Auto, what it looks like inside GT Auto, is very interesting to see. So there's another car in here. There's the Nsx Type R shown. Again, with some customization, visual customization shown, which was picked up in the trailer, but this has more. So it has the wing and the wheels, a bit like the Skylines and Supras did, for example, in the trailer itself. But it also appears to have a custom exhaust, and if you look carefully on the rear window, some window stickers, which is really cool to be able to place them kind of, it looks as if you can place them where you want, rather than just being allowed. I think it was only driver, no, it was only like the Gran Turismo banner on the windows, windscreen in Sport, so that's cool to see. As well as that, we see the oil engine rigidity and rigidity condition returning. So along the bottom it showed the condition of the car, and also gave you options to change the oil, overhaul the engine and restore rigidity, which we used to have to do when we bought used cars, particularly in previous sort of classic Gran Turismo games. There's also the ability to wash the car, which I'm not quite convinced does anything because it doesn't get dirty, but the stuff that wears out, the rigidity, the engine and the oil, is good to see that being part of the game again, because that was always part of classic Gran Turismos and a lot of people missed that in Sport. And also at the bottom of that little list, wide bodies are available. I don't think it has one applied. I don't think we've seen one yet, but that's a really cool thing to see. A sort of new level of customization that we don't see previously from any Gran Turismo games. I don't think anything of that level was ever available. So that is the GT Auto. Next up on the list is the Gran Turismo Cafe. Again, all of these were shown on the map page, but I didn't see any of these screen grabs of what it looked like inside these different areas on the map. So yeah, Gran Turismo Cafe, with a menu you can open up with a car collection tab. So this example shows collecting Japanese compact cars, which is probably where you start, because they're the sort of cheapest cars in the game, they're the things you start with. So yeah, it's a cool sort of collection element to it, which a lot of games are putting in now to try and encourage you to collect all of the cars in the game, rather than kind of getting to a certain stage and then losing interest. It kind of keeps you wanting to buy more cars so that you can keep this collection building and probably win something for doing so, hopefully, to kind of encourage you to keep playing and keep unlocking and buying new cars. So that's kind of cool feature to see. Next up is quite a big one. The used car dealer is returning. I didn't pick up this from the trailer at all, so this is the first I've kind of gathered this. It might have been mentioned before, but yeah, they've shown a screenshot of what the used car dealer will look like. Lots of classic Japanese things in there, amongst some other kind of interesting things like a Scirocco, which is returning to the game. So yeah, that's kind of cool to see. 12 cars shown on the page. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys are very happy to see that return. I certainly am. That was a big thing missing from Sport, obviously being in or I think all of the classic Gran Turismos. Certainly I spend a lot of time in there on GT4, which I've been playing a lot on stream recently. So yeah, that's really cool to see return, and maybe we'll see player cars in there, that'd be quite interesting. But yeah, it's always a fun thing to go and search for what used cars are available on any game, so that looks really cool to return. Next up, the scapes. So I did pick up on these in the trailer, but these two images were shown on the website as well, of the CLK LM and the Mustang Boss, as well as the Supra, which we saw in the trailer, and a couple of other cars. So that's really cool. And in the when I did a first look at the trailer, I said it looks very similar to Sport, but I didn't realise, if you look more closely at that page, there's almost exactly, well, not exact, there's around double the locations that there were in Sport. So there's a lot more choice of where you can take photos of the cars, and some of these will potentially give us clues to tracks that are coming to the game. But yeah, it's a lot bigger than it was in the previous game, but yeah, it is essentially a 2.0 version of Scapes from Gran Turismo Sport. It's the same thing, but with more options, more areas and more backgrounds we can take photos of the cars. So that's all of the sort of individual parts. Then we have the main home map, or the home/map, with icons for all of these places: the used cars, the GT Auto, the tuning shop, the cafe, the licenses, the museum. There's an airport, which is interesting. I don't know if that's where you go to travel to the tracks around the world. Scapes, obviously. There's a circus tent in the background that I haven't quite figured out. And I'm also unsure on the boathouse building at the front. So if anybody has any suggestions or ideas of what those might be, it would be good to know. So that was all the bits I kind of missed. So now we're going to go back over a couple of things from the trailer that I didn't mention or possibly missed when I watched that last time. So let's start by looking at these photographs that were shown after the sort of car storage building. We were shown these images. So the one of the Skylines was the main one we focused on. To the left was the Vision GT cars, which we saw earlier. And to the right there was a third image. So we can all tell quite clearly the car in the front of there is a 300 SL, quite an early racing one. But any guesses on the ones behind would be interesting to know. I've had a look. I think they're kind of too out of focus to tell. It's slightly too far back. But if anybody has any ideas what these might be, do let me know, because that is quite interesting. There's a few cars hidden in there. All quite interesting, sort of high-end classics. What some of the really expensive cars that will be in the game. But yeah, the 300 SL looks really cool. And next up, the Mazda RX Vision interior. So this car's interior was shown driving, has a Mazda logo on the wheel, looks very much like the Vision, it's not a Vision GT car, the Mazda RX Vision, which isn't a Vision GT car. From GT Sport, I think we only had the sort of GT3 version effectively. I think there's two versions of it, the homologated GT3 one and the race car one. But this looks to be like a road car RX, which is really cool. It's effectively the RX-9 that we never got, but in Gran Turismo, although there's a possibility that might still happen in real life. But yeah, a new RX car and a road car rather than a race car, which personally interests me more. So that's really cool. I hope that is what that is, and I hope that does mean it's going to be in the game. It should be if it's in the trailer. So yeah, that was the last little bit I wanted to touch upon in this video. But yeah, really cool to see licenses return. The more customization from the GT Auto is really good to see. Cafe, used cars, more scapes than I initially thought. A good glimpse at the home menu and the different areas we can go to. And of course, if you didn't know already, this comes out on the 4th of March next year, which is a lot sooner than I expected, which was really cool to hear. I'm really excited about that. Seeing that date in the trailer, I was slightly surprised. But yeah, out of all the things we've looked at today, the bits I'm probably most excited about that I had initially missed are the GT Auto with the wide bodies and window stickers in particular, that extra level of customization that we haven't previously had in Gran Turismo. So the GT Auto and, of course, the used cars returning are the two bits I'm really looking forward to. That Mazda RX Vision will be really cool. But anyway, as I said, 4th of March 2022, really not long until launch. Obviously, Horizon 5's closer, but yeah, Gran Turismo a lot sooner than we thought after not getting info for a very long time. So yeah, I very much look forward to the release of this game, and we'll be playing it a lot on stream and in videos as soon as it is, and hopefully we get some more info before then. But for now, that is going to be all for today's video, taking a look at some of the bits I missed from the initial trailer, and possibly you guys would have done as well as trying to get your input on some of the cars that I can't quite figure out, and several people have kind of looked at and not figured out yet, so that would be cool to see what you guys think those are. But that is going to be all for today's video, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next video very soon.